in a yearly sports title that is released every single year, every October, around the same time WWE drops its. So that's why it's a top seller every year and has made WWE a direct competitor in recent years with all the yearly sports titles that are released from all the major organizations. So that's something to really look forward to. In addition to that, it's exclusive now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, reason being so they can update the graphics, update the gameplay, and make it entirely different from PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 back in the day. It doesn't seem that long ago since we were playing Raw vs. SmackDown or the yearly releases of WWE 12 and 13 on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, but the advancements are in now because they are not releasing any throwback titles any longer for systems like the PS3 and Xbox 360, so the advancements are in there. You pretty much have to upgrade now or you're fucked. You had to purchase the new system to get the graphics and the gameplay. Now, additionally, what I thought was going to be done with the throwback titles and the newer systems that have the titles released on them, like PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, was more content was going to be available on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One more so than PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, but it's not the case. Pretty much you have to have that all-season pass, because without that all-season pass, you're not going to get the full campaign for Legends Showcase, which is something I really detest about the yearly releases from WWE now. It's all about the downloadable content and the all-season pass. If you don't purchase the version of the video game in the UK with the all-season pass included, with a code that you punch in after you install the video game, or you download the all-season pass with the additional content, or download additional content as you choose, you're not going to get the full experience. So I really hate that about the yearly releases, and I really wish things weren't the way they were with 2K16 this year, because I think that everything should come with the video game for the price of it. I mean, you're paying more now for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One titles. You're paying a difference of $10. So with a difference of $10, you should at least get the season pass as an added bonus, and you should get the full content and full experience out of the video game without having to purchase downloadable content or purchase the all-season pass. I really hate that. And the all-season pass, what really frustrates me about it is 2K16 has an original trailer, which was released, 2 original trailers with a Terminator, of course, meeting WWE, giving you the chance to put the Terminator up against the current roster or legends of the past like Hulk Hogan and legendary Undertaker. And it also gives you the chance to take a look at the updated trailer, and they've got another trailer that's released taking a look at just the all-season pass exclusively, giving you a chance to take a look at what you're going to get out of the all-season pass. So you have the original trailers, and you have a trailer exclusively talking about specifically the all-season pass and the feud you'll get out of the all-season pass, along with the feud you'll get for 2K Showcase. You'll also get some updated wrestlers like Kalisto and the Lucha Dragons, for instance, of the updated roster, so they don't give you the full roster. Even though they're putting over the full roster for 2K16, they don't give you the full roster. With the all-season pass, you pretty much get the majority of the roster, like the Lucha Dragons. Bo Dallas, I think, is in there as well. So there aren't really all the wrestlers included with the roster, even though they're putting it over as the greatest roster of all time. If you have the all-season pass, you pretty much have the greatest roster of all time. And along with that, also over the next couple of months, more wrestlers are going to be added onto the game as downloadable content, which you can download from the shop mode on the video game. So it all falls back on this all-season pass. And as I mentioned, you got your original trailers of 2K16 to take a look at, and then you have a trailer specifically looking at the all-season pass for 2K16. So you might want to check out all avenues of this video game to really determine whether or not this game is actually worth the price of it. It's going now for nearly close to $85, but I do think the video game definitely makes up for lost time, and because it makes up for lost time without 2K15 fucking sucked in more ways than one, last year, I would recommend this video game to anyone, especially wrestling fans. Now, this is a video game where the same kind of logic I've been throwing in your faces and shoving down your throats for months applies. You really got to be a wrestling fan to really enjoy this video game. If you're just a fan of the choreographing and the storylines that you see on wrestling, then this game is not the game for you. You really have to be a historian when it comes to professional wrestling, and you really have to be a diehard fan of wrestling to be into this video game. If you're not a fan of Legends and the campaign of the Legends Showcase, and this game is not something for you. If you're just a fan of the John Cena's who come out week in and week out, and the Roman Reigns, then this game is not the game for you. You're just going to enjoy the My Career mode, and you're not going to get the most of the game experience for the Legends Showcase. The thing is, you have to be a historian with wrestling history. You have to know your history, like about the Outsiders and the Harlem Heat and Arn Anderson and Ric Flair, to really get into this game. So if you're not a wrestling historian, don't even fucking bother purchasing this game, because this game is specifically designed for die-hard wrestling fans like myself, who go back almost 20 years watching wrestling, even further than that. I can remember matches that I haven't even watched in my lifetime from professional wrestling. I know that much about it. So because I'm a wrestling historian, like probably many of you that are checking out this video blog on YouTube are, this is a video game for you to check out, and I would rate this video game at least 4 to 5 stars on a potential 5-star scale rating because of the detail and the comprehensive look and profiling of all these feuds between some of the greatest legends of all time. This game is not for everybody, but it is a game for the die-hard fans out there and the wrestling historians, which I know exist out there. So it's not a waste of time for me saying that you have to be a wrestling historian to enjoy this video game. Along with that, also, there's the online capability of the video game, which is an added bonus. You can go online and, of course, play through the PlayStation Network or the Microsoft Network and play the WWE 2K16 video game with people online. So the online capability makes it more enjoyable because you get additional hours of content and hours of enjoyment out of playing online, and campaigns with people to determine who is the greatest online player of all time. You compare your points with other players online, of course, for 2K16 and play against them in different match modes. More match modes than ever before are available with 2K16, and WWE actually has been doing a great job putting this video game over. All the legends have even commented on this video game. I know Stone Cold Steve Austin was one wrestler who was really excited about being on the cover of 2K16 and being involved on the roster, and a lot of other legends like Hulk Hogan were also excited about being in this video game. Obviously, with Hulk Hogan's dispute going on now with WWE, people are wondering why Hulk Hogan is still included with the video game after he dropped the N-word in an interview where he didn't know he was allowed that he was being taped for. The story behind that is basically the game was gone into production long before this ever happened with Hulk Hogan. So obviously they didn't have enough time to take Hulk Hogan out of the game and go back on that. So Hulk Hogan is included on the Legends roster, and because Hulk Hogan was always a trademark name with wrestling, you would expect Hulk Hogan to be in this video game after how much talk was done about him from 2014 when obviously the Hulkster had returned for WrestleMania. So the backstory on that is the game had gone into production after this racist issue was first publicized by websites like ProWrestling.com and .net, and they couldn't go back on it. They didn't have enough time to take Hulk Hogan out of the video game, like they recalled Attitude back in the day when they put that tribute for Owen Hart in the video game. They had enough time to call back the video game to put in the tribute for Owen Hart, who died on May 23rd, 1999. The following August, they dropped the video game. That's what it puts me in mind of. They didn't have enough time. They should have do it. So Hogan got away with being in the video game, and I guess that's the last project Hogan will be involved with, at least for the next number of years with professional wrestling. Not to say that he won't be again, but obviously this is the last time we're going to see Hogan involved with a project for quite some time. The WWE 2K16 video game, which is available now, with Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I also like the fact that all these legends are in the video game for the first time ever since 2K14, because when you compare 2K14 and 2K15's roster, the number of legends specifically put in 2K14 in comparison to the follow-up 2K15 fucking sucked. It's a crying shame when you compare the rosters of 2K14 and 2K15. 2K14 had virtually every icon of WrestleMania from Andre the Giant to Ted DiBiase included in the video game for the 30 years of WrestleMania campaign. And 2K15, I don't know what the fuck happened there, because they took every legend out of the video game that you could think of. Shawn Michaels and Triple H, along with CM Punk and John Cena, are supposed to make up for all the legends you left out of the video game. How do you get away with not including Andre the Giant and Randy Savage in the follow-up and get away with including them in the previous release from 2K14? It's ridiculous how they treated the video game titles from 2K14 to 15. So at least now in 2K16 they are making up for lost time by not only including the greatest roster ever, but taking a look at feuds from not only WWE but other wrestling promotions as well. They knew they had to get something fucking going for the video game, and they did it. So I do give WWE and 2K Sports the benefit of the doubt for actually making up for lost time and not giving us time to criticize anything with the video game. Now, I know there are people out there that will find more to criticize about this video game than I'd probably like to admit to, because there are always these critics out there that jump down the throats of the video game developers and things like that. That's why I'm really excited to be talking about Ratchet & Clank for PlayStation 4 coming up in the next couple of weeks. In addition to that, talking about a gaming show in My Parents Garage, which is a Disney XD produced television show giving you game pointers and previews of video games on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in the video game world, the updated video game world, because I really hate talking about these video games that people find time in criticizing, but I mean nobody should find time in criticizing this video game. Now, I know that I have found time in criticizing it just for a few points. It's not like I'm criticizing the whole video game, because there are things in video games, let's face it, that you're going to like and that you're not going to like. That's what creates diversity about a video game. And I just rated the video game 4 out of 5 stars. So I obviously, on a 5-star scale perspective rating, expect a lot out of 2K16. I have found a lot of things to criticize about this video game, but I'm not choosing to do it because I think 2K16 makes up where 2K15 let a lot of people down. And to be honest with you, last year, my initial reaction out of 2K15 after I installed it and played it for the first time on the PlayStation 3 because I had the throwback version of the video game, my initial reaction was simply this: holy fuck, what a letdown. I said that multiple times after I played 2K15 last year, and hopefully I'm not going to be saying that about 2K16 when I eventually have the time to allow to play the video game, because I really think that 2K16 had to top 2K15 and make up for lost time, and I think, or at least I would like to believe, that this year's video game 2K16 makes up for what 2K15 didn't offer us as wrestling fans. I really felt for the die-hard wrestling fans out there when I played it for the initial time, with my initial reaction being holy fuck, because I can only imagine what die-hard wrestling fans thought of the roster, the campaign, how it was watered down, especially on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, and there not being much of a difference from the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 and the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. Really felt for you guys who went out and made a huge sacrifice and purchased this game, and hopefully the price of this video game will fucking be worth it this year, because if this video game is a blowout, then this video game will not be needed to be released next year, because it's just going to continuously let us down year after year after year. If this game blows out in terms of sales, then there's no point in releasing 2K17 next October, so forget about it. Nobody will head out and purchase it if 2K16 is a blowout, and with the all-season pass having a specific trailer released for it, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this game was a blowout and didn't live up to the expectations of wrestling fans out there, because they have original trailers released